How do we make our frequencies? The way we make them is we base it on like certain brain waves, sacred geometry, and also molecular mapping. Let me explain one at a time. Our brains have different kinds of brain waves. There's alpha, beta, theta, delta, and gamma. What you want to be in is you want to be in an alpha whenever you're trying to solve problems, and you want to be in the delta when you're sleeping so that you get really deep sleep. And delta is when you access the really deep conscious mind, and it helps you to solve problems, and you get access like a universal consciousness. How many of you, like when you wake up from your bed, all of a sudden have this idea, or all of a sudden figured out a solution to a problem that you've been thinking about for a week? Any of you have done that? Well, that's your delta brain waves. They call it daydreaming. Daydreaming is basically alpha. It's when you kind of slow down your mind and you get into these really creative states. And then the top athletes in the world learn how to do this. And the top CEOs and the top performers, they learn how to get into alpha and then learn how to get into delta when they sleep. So what we do is we actually have frequencies based on brainwave EEG frequencies. So we emulate that. So when it's playing through the coils, your brain is slowly being guided into those mind states. Second way is through sacred geometry. So like the pyramids, you all know that there's special geometry, right? And today even scientists can't figure out how they could get it so exact. The geometries actually show, the evidence shows that whoever built the pyramids had to know the speed of light in order to translate that into the pyramids. So how did they know the speed of light back a few thousand years ago when the pyramids were built? Well, maybe somebody told them, or maybe they had some secret or some ancient knowledge that we don't have or we lost. So there's many different geometries in the pyramid, and the reason they built that with that geometry is because those are the universe's numbers, and they have very significant meaning, and they have very significant effect on consciousness and on well-being. So it's and it's same with the flower of life, same with the Metatron's cube. So all these can be like the pyramid. We have a frequency for the pyramids, by the way. We have the pyramid frequencies based on the angle of the pyramid, which is 51.51. So we build our frequencies on sacred geometry. So now when you listen to them, it's as if you're getting that hologram of the pyramid. Because if you go into the pyramid, there's some chambers with specific geometries, and when you resonate that, turn it into numbers, they turn out to be very exact and precise. That's what sacred geometry is, and we make a lot of our quantum frequencies using those sacred numbers. So we have a whole system of solfeggio frequencies. We actually take it to the next level because we create harmonics on top of the solfeggio. Because you go to YouTube, most of the solfeggio frequencies will be just one, like 518. Okay, that's one solfeggio frequency, and great. They put some music tracks on top of it to make it sound better, right? And you get maybe a little bit of a buzz. But when you add harmonics to 518, because 518 is just one frequency, in music there's harmonics, right? If you just listen to one note over and over again on the piano, it's gonna sound boring, right? When you play chords, then it sounds interesting, and it starts creating emotional effects. When we create harmonics combined with sacred geometry, and by the way, we use the phi ratio, we use the pi ratio, so we use more different sacred geometries to create harmonies with our quantum frequencies. So that's how we make it. Number 3, molecular mapping. Molecular mapping means that we take the geometry of a molecule. Let's say that it is DM and a T, right? Dimethyltryptamine. So you have 2 methyls and then you have like 3 tryptamines, something like that, right? So they create a geometry. When the molecules in the 3-dimensional shape, you can look this up. You see the lines and the hexagons and stuff like that. They create a geometry. So what we do is we take that geometry and create a frequency from it. Let's say that this is a DM and a T molecule, right? This is the geometry of the molecule. It's not this, but let's say it looks like that. Now see, whenever you spin it like this, the numbers change because the points always change, right? So let's say this is 1. Now it changes to 0. Now it changes back to 1. Now it changes to 0. So it goes 0, 1, 0, 1 when it spins. Now this changes too. So when you have a shape that changes in a three-dimensional field and also spins, the numbers keep oscillating.